Opening merchant interface. Scanning trade routes. Scanning for cargo destinations within jump range. Cargo shipment available. 7 tons of luxury items and 11 tons of cat toys. Destined for the Hyperion cluster. Contacting Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC for more information. Stand by.
Welcome to Traveller Mayday Mayday 2023, everybody. My name is Frank Succardi, also known as CyborgPrime, and my guest is Craig A. Glesner of Thornwood-Daarnulud, the creator of the Herald-Class Yacht. How you doing?
You're doing chuffed as hell, dude. This is my 5th year really doing this. This is dope. I feel like a grown-up company almost. I'm not even in my office. Thank you. No, thank you for having me again. As always, an honor. I'm proud to be part of the community.
Craig, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Craig A. Glesner. By day, I'm a mild-mannered dispatcher for an alarm company because, we have to pay bills. Because you do not get into publishing to become rich, kids. If you're listening to this thinking, how will I make millions as a publisher? Be Random House. Otherwise, you gotta love it. And yeah, I do Traveller publishing and gaming, and I've gotten myself into T5 pretty heavily since the beta, and apparently my name is now showing up in Mongoose books I didn't even know about. If I remember correctly, the last Spinward Marches book actually has an acknowledgement or a mention of my name in the cover.
Oh, cool.
So I have to go pick up a new copy of that. Page 121, Anthony did a review of it, and he cracks open the title page all the time so you can get a look of, who wrote it and everything like that. And I was like, wow, that looks like my name. And being the egomaniac I am, I froze it and zoomed it in because YouTube lets you do that now on the iPad. I was like, oh crap, that is. I have to go buy a copy of this book, add it to my collection of ta-da, I'm a real author.
That's awesome.
People pay me to write things.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into gaming and sci-fi.
Probably Star Trek, like all nerds. In Space 1999. Although I grew up in the 70s, so I got a dose of Battle of the Planets, the ever beloved Super Science Ninja Team Gotcha Man, which is a bunch of dope ass teenagers beating up aliens in bird costumes. For those people who don't know, look it up. It's tight.
There's a live.
But get the Japanese one.
There's a live action version. The
live one is sick house, dude. Apparently the story's kind of blah, and they don't fly around in their cool costumes as much. But I did see it, and it does kind of look baller. But none's going to match the really best one, believe it or not, is for like a telecommunications company did this little Gotcha Man short. Oh my God, it's sick. I also have not seen the 90s OVA yet, and I want to get that one.
So how'd you go from Space 1999 and Gotcha Man to sci-fi gaming?
The UWM Student Union, where I was never a student, but I was always there. The third floor of the UWM Union had a gaming crowd. Now, originally, I discovered D&D of all places in the psychiatric child center, psychiatric ward, where I played a thief who got killed by a Greek trap. Made a perfect run through and then pressed the wrong guy. That was my very first behind the screens. Like, no, dude, double lot, you're screwed. See, this is the spell. No disintegration, no save. Like, so believe it or not, you think I wouldn't like gaming, having my very first character killed. I love that shit.
As you said, that was anticlimactic.
But like, he legit didn't even touch the dice, dude. He was just like, clap, clap, clap. Perfect. Oh, I'm so sorry. First behind the screens, but in a weird way, I think it was because he brought me behind the screens and showed me how it all actually worked from behind the screens, as opposed to just roll some dice, I tell you. And I think that's probably what actually hooked me in. So yeah, I went to UWM because I heard there were like cool people hanging out there, and I knew some people in common who were students who were like, I'd hang out with. And that's how I met the third floor gaming crew and Traveller, because Zed, the great thrower of dice, was running a little Black Books campaign. And as I've said in previous interviews, but I'll never get tired of saying it, I got to play Octavian in space, which was dope. Oh, it's only great. I only talk about it now because, like, when I was playing it, I didn't know. He was just like, yeah, your dad is the emperor. He's dead. You got to go reclaim the throne. This is based on a historical Roman event, which I'm sure everybody but me was like, oh, okay. Which explains though why they were very cool about, in a weird way, doing probably what happened. Like a bunch of the old guard protect the kid while he does some noob shit. And in the end, we'll see the emperor. Also, space ramming.
Space ramming.
I don't know if any. Yeah, I don't know if any other Traveller game allows it or has it even or has taken it into account. But like I said, I was playing with history nerds, like getting degrees in medieval history and shit like that. They were also the SCA, a lot of them. But I don't know, man. Our group had really bad dice in that game, I think. Because like I remember a lot of things where like Thaddeus ran up on a dude and stuffed a laser pistol up underneath dude's helmet and shot him that way because every other one of his shots had missed. So he basically set it up so he had as many possible modifiers that he could to his dice roll and be like, does that it? Does that finally kill this guy? He was messing us all up. And we were getting messed up in a space combat. And our captain was just like, all right, well, you know what? Ram them and we'll board them. It's just like, honestly, I didn't understand why we don't see more of it. It's a very Traveller Age of Sail kind of thing. Like, all those whales run into their ship. They ain't going nowhere.
Right.
And yeah, from there, just a long, steady stream of playing and wanting mostly to play Traveller, but everybody else plays all those fantasy games. You know, Traveller doesn't let you play Star Wars because, like, no, you're weak in jump space. Figure it out. They made, oh man, sure. And they always make you poor. I don't know why they do that.
Well, you can just look at it like a road trip.
That's much more my style. That's why I play nobles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, I'm just here doing things with the title if I want to.
So what inspired you to create the Herald-Class Yacht expansion for Traveller 5?
The beta for Traveller 5, because I was testing everything I could get my hands on. More specifically, I was testing the things I really loved. I cannot lie. I up for help redo combat, and I have to go back and reread that because it's probably going to become extant in a little bit. But yeah, I had a entire sector I had generated. Well, actually, somebody in the group generated for most of it, and I've been tweaking it ever since. And I needed a ship for them to go on the mission to. At that point, it was still in the third Imperium, so I was having them shuttle the ambassador to Jordani because I'm kind of a Zoe simp. I think they have a reasonable society in a lot of ways. Now, I know some shit about them behind the screens that has tempered that enthusiasm a little bit, but on the whole, I still think they have a pretty sensible society. I love the way the books, all the alien books in Traveller have always tried to make the point. I don't think people get that enough. That Lord Jordani thought police, the Imperials were all like, oh no, don't look. Whereas in a weird way, they don't see that as, I mean, not looking is kind of creepy. Like, you can, but you don't. What's wrong with you? Some sort of weird introvert? Do you need help? Should we get one of the Guardians to come help you? I love the fact that they call them the Guardians of our morality in their own language. That it's not an oppressive thing. It's, I mean, in the way they describe, like how the Jordani are like, oh, you're having problems at work. Your home life's kind of messed up. Come here. We're going to get you trained to a new job. We're going to figure out what's going on at home. And we'll see if we have to. We'll bring your family and we'll do Gestalt and we'll get this sorted. And honestly, the fact that lying is a thing that they have to teach their spies and things like that. That's cool. It's actually more functional, rational society than our own current one. And frankly, I've always been kind of a sympathizer. So yeah, I needed to get them to bring the new ambassador in, and Mark graciously even put a little blip about the whole new ambassador being shuttled in one of the Imperial lines. Actually, I think it was 5 or 6. I think it might be 5. But yeah, so I needed that, and I needed something big because I am an idiot. They're like, well, the average gaming group is 4 to 6 players. And that's because a couple of people couldn't make it today. Yeah, so I like big groups apparently, which comes upcoming. But so yeah, I basically designed a a player ship capable of holding like 12 people, just in case. And because, of course, it was a diplomatic mission, it had to be a yacht. You don't send an ambassador on a tramp freighter kit. That just isn't done unless you're doing some shady things. And, well, then you generally don't send an ambassador. So, yeah, it by need had to be a yacht. There was really, I mean, I suppose I could have done a Navy ship. Damn, dude, everybody does Navy ships. I'm guilty of it. I have an entire folder full of scout ships and Navy ships. I mean, I've literally been working on another, an assault cruiser because, like, God knows there's not enough of those in Traveller. Let me add one. But mine's, tech level 15. So, again, I should probably just admit that was me keeping busy till I got my computer back. But speaking of new ships, still working on Shackleton. Trying to get Mike Barger to put a little bit more of a fire under the regiment because that's kind of holding it up. I got a variant that is a mercenary cruiser, which holds a combined arms regiment, hopefully. Otherwise, you're getting my crappy half-ass version of a lift regiment. But dude looked at it and was like, well, I got to give you points for like having recovery vehicles and thinking about logistics, but I was in an actual real life professional army. So hopefully I'll get that be jamming. I'm trying to get Barbara. I think it's Barbara. I don't know how to pronounce it. Super Troopers has made me really self-conscious about that last name now. But they were trying to, hopefully I'm trying to put together a pack of handouts. And while I'm doing all of that, I'm going to hopefully run a game.
So can you, without revealing any secret sauce or whatever, can you walk us through the process of creating deck plans for a starship like the Herald-Class Yacht?
Yeah, you have somebody volunteer to do it and then not take any cash for it. Even though you repeatedly go, no, dude, seriously, it is worth it to me to pay you for this. Dude's like, nah, it was just something I did for shits and giggles. Or you hire me instead. And, that's what I did the second time around. And the third and the fourth time around. God damn, dude, I really need to get them books out. So, yeah, I got like 3 ships of deck plans that Ian's done for me. And they are, every last one of them worth every penny I paid for them. I'm very, very happy. I don't bicker, dude. They're artists. I understand. This is my rate. Okay. It's like, dude, they get enough hassle. I am not going to add to the try to bicker them down.
So, how do you incorporate feedback and suggestions from the Traveller community into your work?
As much as I can get them to, which is like trying to pull, I don't know, 4-leaf clovers. It's hard. The funny thing is honestly, when it comes to the Herald, the biggest negative reaction I had, and which I have taken to heart, is Anthony did the review for page 121. And his page 121 video ends with, well, he wanted an honest opinion, so here you go, dude. There's a lot of typos. I'm like, ooh, he's like a whole lot of them. Otherwise, great book, but typos driving me crazy here. And I was like, oh, no, that's good. I didn't know that though, So eventually, somewhere down the road, I would eventually like to do an updated Herald Mark II.
Second edition.
Yeah,
with all the typos fixed.
All the typos fixed, and Stephanie Michaela getting her awesome credit for that banger of a cover she did. Oh my God, dude! I am still pretty sure that book is basically still selling because that cover is so sick. Oh my God, I am in love with that cover. I told her, it's like, no, that's my brand style for the game now. I mean, you sank it, dude. It's perfect. Negative space is beautiful. The framing is beautiful. The color matching. Stephanie does a fabulous job of covers. Highly recommend. 6 stars all the way. Nothing but satisfaction. It is hella beautiful. I cannot lie. My original cover for the Herald is rubbish, and I feel really sorry for anybody who bought one. And frankly, if you can produce it, I'll replace it with a good copy for you. I'm just, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
I don't even did some of those, but yeah, no. So yeah, no, I tried to incorporate. I mean, I incorporated it real well because Steph was like, let me do a cover for you, mate, because, like, no, really, please. I was like, that bad, huh? Let me cover it for you. And I was like, okay. And it looks spectacular. So the truth is, I honestly have changed as a creator and a GM in that my favorite word when I started was no, because it's my baby and I'm going to do it my way. And now I'm like, it's still my baby. And if I have to, I will veto. But honestly, dude, if the suggestion's good, hell yes, please. Incorporate it. I will incorporate every good suggestion I get my hands on, dude. I'm not proud. What is it? Somebody said, real artist steal. I'm trying to like, I don't steal because I believe in giving credit where it's due, but I will definitely, if allowed, use some shit because everything we know of civilization's been built on somebody else's work. Since the first dude or first human got together and was like, let's live in this cave. Aren't there bears there? Yeah, but we got these sticks. I think there's like 30 of us. We can take a bear. Come on, man, let's do it. And thus began human civilization. I mean, was it Margaret Mead, I think, was the one who anthropologist who was like, yeah, I don't know. The first sign that humans were becoming humans was the fact that we were taking care of people long before we were making bread or beer or anything else, domesticating animals, none of that shit. The first thing we were doing was caring for our wounded so that people who got wounds that should have killed them left untreated did not die. That people were smashing up old people's food with no teeth so they could continue living into what was for them a ripe old age of like 50.
Right, right. So, what do you think sets the Herald-Class Yacht apart from other starships in the Traveller universe?
Did I mention it holds 12 player characters? 12.
What are the other features? It has other features.
It's beautiful. A thing that definitely a lot of traveler ships can't say. Let's be true. A lot of them are like, really, dude? Oh, Varder ships. I'm like, what is up with those fins, guys? That is just ridiculous. And apparently, Traveler has a fixation for ships with bug eyes, which I'm not entirely adverse to. In fact, someday I have to make a ship with bug eyes just to be a Traveler ship. But no, it's pretty. It's aerodynamic. It looks like it could fly. I'm biased, of course, because it's my baby. And yeah, no, it came out honestly because it came out better than it started. What I had in my head was a sad approximation of what we ended up with because other people were like, "Here, let me massage that into something pretty for you." And yeah, it's got beautiful artwork. It has, like I said, a smashing, absolutely brilliant cover that I will never stop gushing over. I like to think that the words inside are pretty dope. Um, Everybody who seems to have run into it is just like, holy crap, this thing is well detailed. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I think I just wanted to get it done. So I stopped writing up obscure, stupid things for every single compartment. I'd like to say, worthy of large groups or high level character players. You know, I'm sorry, I just cannot see a count running around in that tiny little 200-ton Type Y class yacht that you get. I mean, that's fine for a knight or a baron. That's cool. But like you start getting into the higher levels, and my players do not believe in quitting after one or two terms. And they're really good at re-enlisting, and they do most of the time. Although I did have Chuck was the one character I had who's ever actually hit mandatory, not just mandatory reenlistment, but like successive multiple mandatory reenlistments. He ended up with a 72-year-old scout. Like literally where the rules say at 72 you are forced to retire, he did that move. He literally got booted out because the rules said he couldn't take any more terms. And as I recall, they still didn't end up with a scout ship because he didn't roll one. So yeah, he had like 7 terms, but honestly, my players average 4 to 6 terms. So, if you have players who like to play Timmy the Power Gamer and Traveler and not like, oh, we're broke all the time, but we're merchant princes, banging ship right there. That's the kind of thing a merchant prince should be floating around in. You don't actually sully your hands with small trade anymore. That's for, people you've hired. And at this point, you're a flag officer. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it's designed. It's designed for large groups and high level players groups.
Can you tell us about
So,
any like particularly memorable or challenging aspects of the Herald project and how you overcame them?
oh, yeah, this would be a really good time for that because I'm getting boost on the honestly, players nagging me, having to actually get the game off the damn ground, and a lot of other people really helping out. I cannot stress enough how much I love it when other people lend a hand. That makes that stuff so much easier. I mean, I had a crappy sketch, and Mark Lucas turned it into a beautiful set of deck plans and some really killer exterior shots. And Steph made a bang cover, and I did all the words. Oh, and Rick Schlock did the initial layouts and editing as well. So, I can blame Rick for some of those. Yes. Hey, it's not often as a leader you get to pass the buck legit. I still took the hit for it though.
So it sounds like you collaborate with some other creators and publishers, or at least people who do all the different pieces.
Oh yeah, no, I realized I had to come to the realization after the whole comic book fiasco and trying to create my own goddamn game that realistically, Steve Jobs didn't build the Apple computer. Hell, Woz didn't build the entire thing himself. I mean, it wasn't like he was making resistors on his own and shit. He was buying boards and working with what other people had already put down. Yeah, I'm just continuing a fine tradition of civilization works best when we work together. Oh, and don't be a dick about it. I try not to wield my power, what power I have, as a grim tyrant, even though in a weird way I am a grim tyrant. But I try not to play one on TV, just in my real life. I mean, it's like when they made me a mod at Cody. I was like, wait, what? You made me a mod? And I think I realized that part of it is like, yeah, they understood I wasn't going to run around panhammering anybody just because I got into an argument with them. And I always took my tickets. I'd try my one appeal, but this is my reason. Yeah, that don't count. Okay. I'll be in court. Pay my damn fine and be done with it. And yeah, so they gave me a star, and yeah, I haven't been to Cody in forever. I need to go back and start getting maybe hanging out there a little more too. But everybody seems to be on Discord now, so hell, Rob's on Discord. That dude just sent me a thing. That's another thing that helps. Having somebody higher in the food chain who is exceedingly supportive and does want to see you succeed. Rob has been an excellent patron, and I hope to model myself someday to be as good as he is. Also, Greg Lee. I cannot forget Greg. Greg put me on his cover. He underpaid me, and we both know it. But since I was a nobody technically, that's all right. I got underpaid by one of the Traveller legends. It was great. And he was really fun to work with. Oh no, dude, Greg was amazing. He gave me like 4 books for background just to make sure I had everything I needed. He was just like, I mean, the guy was a lawyer, so I mean, he wasn't exactly poor compared to me anyway. And I mean, I'm not saying he was rich. I'm just saying, compared to my broke to the last, the man, yeah, that's the kind of shit I would do, and I try to do. So yeah, he dropped like 4 books, 2 different Sword World books actually. That's why it's 4. He gave me both the GURPS and the Mongoose run. Remember correctly, he said basically he's GURPS though, because he liked it better, as I recall. I got that right. But yeah, and then he put me on his cover, and that kind of didn't hurt either.
Awesome.
So yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who's interested in creating their own RPG or sci-fi content?
Yeah, okay. Honestly, be prepared. It stops being play and it starts becoming work, and work is a 4-letter word. Be prepared to look at words you wrote a billion times. Definitely, if you can, get other people to look at those words for you, because quite possibly you're going to get sick of seeing them. That's been my biggest hurdle. Don't let any imposter syndrome that's saddling me saddle you. Which is dumb because like everybody's just been like, the ship is banging. I don't know, man. Probably because I'm trying something different with this book. The last book was a basic starship. You know, it followed most of the basic conventions of a traveler ship. You know, here's your description, here's some cool flavor, here's a deck plan, here's descriptions of each of the key points on the deck plan. For the Shackleton, I've actually been trying to write a walking tour, as it were. It's like literally the name of the chapter, as I recall. Yeah, I'm trying to write an in-character actual walking tour, you know, where like, okay, on this side we have this, and in here you'll find these things, and it is basically from the point of view of a prospective buyer and or crew member. And I'm a little like, I don't know. And the worst part is because the Herald is getting such banger reviews, and everybody's been like, it's so cool. You did really good. Oh my God. In fact, the person who did the Mongoose conversion, which I'm hoping to get out very soon, is one of the people I sent it to last year, uh, Aiken. And they were like, "Oh my God, this thing is beautiful." They were like, "I was expecting it, you know, I was expecting like a yacht," and it said, "I got a flying palace." And so, you know, you think it wouldn't hit me that, like, you know, maybe I'm really bad at this. Maybe this is the wrong idea. Don't doubt yourself. You're going to be your own worst critic. I know I am. I mean, even Anthony going, there's a lot of typos in there, didn't feel anywhere near as hurtful as some of the things that go through my own head looking at my own work. Yeah.
Oh, it's just typos.
Hmm. Exactly. In a weird way, that's just a mechanical fix. You know, there's nothing more than just hunt those down, find replace. Simple, easy. You don't have to rewrite.
Exactly. So Craig, how do you stay up to date with new RPG and sci-fi trends and developments in the industry?
I spend some time hanging out on Facebook, and I watch a lot of YouTube, and read the articles about how Watsi really almost just completely impaled themselves on stupid with the OGL, because something, honestly, if it's big enough to make news now, it's like, dude, our industry actually has news. This shit is taken serious. The fact there's a guy in Forbes writing down in bloody Lake Geneva, I could go to that dude's front door and be like, "Oh, you play Traveller, homeboy? Come on up to my side of town. Bring your ass to the big city, yut." Like, yeah, but I mean, apparently, yeah, he was probably somewhere in Lake Geneva because he was like, "This is where role playing is born," and he lives in Wisconsin. I'm like, "Oh, that motherfucker lives like maybe 90 miles from me." And they write for Forbes about Traveller and other gaming. Forbes, you know, the magazine for snooty people with money that they can wipe their ass with because they're just that kind of rich.
Hey, rich people can play Traveller.
Oh, I know they do because there's some in like the Emirates. I think somebody did an interview with Mark Mendler. It's either the Emirates or Qatar. I think it was the Emirates though. So like I know there's people in the Levant who play it. It is bloody huge in Germany, and of all places, apparently it's spectacularly big in Japan.
Huh.
Yeah, one of Cody's resident 3D artists. Really, really amazing artwork by this individual called Mag. So like literally MAG three times, all one word. But they do these killer TL-15 3D cutaway models that are just beautiful. I'm so jelly because I would so love to have them do one of my ships because it is just, they got like engines in there. If you ever go to Citizens Imperium Forum for Traveller, which you should, kids, if you haven't, tell them Max sent you. They have they put their art on there in the picture section like a lot, or they used to. And in fact, actually, they're really cool image of some troops in gray battle dress, which I really like because it's not the typical maroon, and it makes sense because they're in the city. Just kind of three of them floating, looking around like they're on patrol or something. And it's just also mag, and also super killer. Yeah.
So, can you share any tips or tricks for game masters or players who are using the Herald-Class Yacht in their Traveller campaigns?
It's a showpiece. Honestly, use it like that. That is your ship for somebody who's going to be ostentatious. That is the kind of thing that says power has walked into the starport, and y'all should notice now. This is not an undercover boat, although they could be with the right things added, refs and players. Hell of places to put some pop-up charts, I'm just saying. There were plans eventually for that, a Q-ship version and a transport, your trader version as well, the line Rampant, which had an interesting nickname or name beforehand because I have dyslexia and it comes out in some very interesting ways. So you can rearrange those two middle letters to imagine what it originally was named by accident. And Mark thought it was kind of funny. Yeah, it's designed to be a showpiece. It's designed to say somebody with at least wealth and power, a minimum of wealth of power. Actually, not a minimum. That's a type Y. This thing says hi. Big guns have shown up. Maybe not in the literal sense, but in the metaphorical sense of power has arrived and things will be dealt with now. Even if your players don't use it, they should know from one of those lands somebody important is now in town.
All right.
Also, don't forget it has an armed diplomatic limousine. Because players will be players.
Right. So, how do you balance visual aesthetics with practical gameplay when creating the deck plans?
There is no piping. All right. If I've learned anything in my study of military ships of the world, pipes are everywhere. They're in your halls all the time. They're in your spaces. Oh, you're sleeping there, Spacer? That's too bad. I need to put a vent for life support through that area. Hope you can use it with a slightly smaller space. Yeah, deck plans are amazing for the amount of information they actually lack. And I'm not just talking about cool little 3D little chair images or something. I'm like, no, the infrastructure of the ship is basically not there. Or if it is, it's in that black area that, the artist didn't want to put greeblies into, which is kind of understandable. Yeah, deck plans should be simple and easy to use. I mean, the exterior is the artwork, in my opinion. The deck plan should be business. Players are going to be needing, there's a certain amount of stuff you should put in the deck plan. Yeah, like, okay, beds are always here, desks are here usually. That kind of stuff is good. Cockpit, probably not going to change arrangement too much. But, you want players to be able to use it, not just look at it.
So you try to make like practical use maps.
Yeah, I like clean, playable. I mean, also, yeah, like you said, I mean, if you got the kind of cash and desire to, yeah, those are the kind of things that you can put into, a machine, blow them up, take them to your print shop, get them pumped up in the big size and laminated, and then ka-tow. You've now got to play it. You can put your little minis on it and move around. I'm going to the hold.
Or you could make VTT versions.
Or you could make VTT versions, or you could make VTT versions, and I could be like a pro for having a cool ship that was worthy of it.
I think I've heard of something like that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So there's two of them actually, as I recall.
You developed the Herald under the Traveller 5 license, so you weren't affected by the Wizards of the Coast Open Gaming license, but you probably have an opinion about it.
I think they shot themselves in the foot badly. I mean, yeah, I have an opinion. That was it. Like, wow, did you guys set out to sabotage your entire game on purpose? Or are you just completely clueless to what you just said? Because your lawyer should have told you they're not going to like what this says. Because it kind of looks like we could just steal their stuff and they are probably not going to like that. I mean, I know they're little people, but there's like thousands of those little people. And they're kind of a significant portion of our market share because, people are buying the core rules still to play the other stuff. you know? Yeah, worse when the movie was coming out, which was looking, oh my God, it looks so dope. I haven't seen it. I've heard fairly good things about it. I can't lie. They had me with Displacer Beast and jumping into a gelatinous cube, which has got to be the most player thing I've ever seen in a movie about D&D. Because you're first thinking, what the hell, you stupid idiots? And then you're like, well, Displacer Beast is about to eat their face. Those things are notoriously horrible to fight. Them and Blink Dog. They're just like two of the old school AD&D terror menaces, dude. Displacer cats and Blink Dogs. Neither one of those are things you wanted to meet in the wild. So when that trailer showed me Displacer Beast, and then I mean it took a second for me to put it all together too. I'm like, wait a minute, is that a holy crap? That's a Displacer Beast. Wait, did they just jump into a gelatinous cube? What the hell were they thinking? We didn't want to die. That's what nobody. So I mean, doing a thing that you almost assuredly knew was going to upset your base market right before you're about to release potentially the best thing this game has ever seen coming on down the pike, to finally live down all the bad D&D movies and the terrible cartoon and all that with a stupid banger looking movie with like real movie stars and shit in it. It's like, dude, you got a Chris in this movie. Shut up. That's like bankable. Which is funny because apparently his character is kind of annoying or something. But hey, yeah, no, dude, I think that was probably one of the worst business. It's like they did the exact opposite of what they did when they released the OGL, which was like, wait, what? You're gonna let us just make D&D and give you just a cut? We don't have to send it in to you and go through a long, involved, stupid process. We just have to adhere to some rules. Yeah, we'll take that, please. It was a brilliant move. It really was, because it blew the game up. And yeah, I think that it's funny. They keep trying to tell us these big business people, CEO, they know what they're doing. That's why they get paid the big money. And I keep looking around modern America going, no, really? Could you explain to me how that's supposed to work? Because the evidence is that shit isn't true in real life. Elon Musk is a goddamn idiot. Okay. Also a credit thief. I'm sorry, but I got to put out on this one. When they were like, oh, look, we launched the first solar sail. We're so cool. Elon Musk, yeah, look at me, I'm cool. And it was like, but the Japanese did that like a year ago, dude. It's not even the first. Shut the hell up. Also, did you build the solar sail, Elon? No, you didn't. Then again, shut the hell up. Okay? You're driving the car, buddy. Okay? You're not important. Shut up and drive. People in the backseat are discussing business now. This guy's an idiot. And I don't know why he has this fan base. Starship, God love the people who work there. Those people are doing a bang up job, and I wish them nothing but the best. And as much as I know it would cost that man money personally, I know it would break the heart of every person in launch control if that damn thing explodes on the pad. And that is literally the only reason I don't want that to happen. I want to cost the man money, but I don't want to cost these people their dream. And honestly, I can't lie. It's always been our dream. I mean, dude, they made tail landing rockets because it would be dope in science fiction. I mean, otherwise it's ridiculous. It's just a silly idea. But they're like, it would be really cool. What if we could land a rocket and reuse it? Yeah, that's not going to work. And here they're like literally doing it like on a weekly basis. That's some Gattaca level star spaceship launches, kids. Remember Gattaca? The movie about genetic engineering? And probably one of the greatest heist movies in the history of heist movies. Because I do kind of think of it as a heist movie.
Yeah, it's a heist movie.
It is.
Yeah, I
mean,
see
sorry,
that.
spoilers, kids. But it is in its weird way. they tell you right away, kind of, actually. It's a heist movie. Dude's going to try to heist his ass to space.
It's a reverse heist.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, my God, damn. Nice call, Ref.
Mm-hmm.
Nice call. You are correct. It is actually technically a reverse. But, yeah, I mean, but the thing about it was, think about how often they were literally launching. And we are doing something close to that now in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And we're landing those rockets and reusing them to like the point where like one of those boosters has like 12 missions under its belt now. So no, I hate Elon Musk because he is a narcissistic crybaby. Anybody who thinks otherwise, they obviously are biased and not paying attention. I didn't know who the guy was until he started opening his own damn mouth. So all the hell he gets from me, he brought solely on himself. The man did not know him until he started mouthing off like an idiot. So yeah, honestly, I am super hyped about tomorrow. I hope their launch goes spectacular. I'm kind of depressed that they're not bringing him back. Like,
all right.
Guys.
So how do you see advancements in technology like AI and virtual tabletop affecting the tabletop gaming industry in the future?
Okay, now we're gonna have a real conversation.
Do you think AI is going to replace the GM?
No, not yet. Not well, I should say. At this point, sentience or not, they are very good at what they're starting to learn. I mean, we watched them get whooped at chess to the point where they whooped at chess, but we were always like, yeah, but they'll never do Go. That takes a real human mind to work. Oh, and now we have a machine that beat a human. I'll never forget the look on that man's face when he was describing to a documentary about how the Deep Space One agent had cleared a malfunction using a solution that it made on its own with what it had, and the solution it made was more elegant than the one they were telling it to try. And it was beautiful because it was kind of shock and awe and a little bit of Frankensteinian horror mixed with some proud parent. Like, we built it and it did this amazing thing. We built it and it did this thing that we couldn't tell it to do. And yeah, the people are like, oh, we got to put the best thing we can do right now is teach it not to be bad. And one of those ways actually would be to teach it gaming because it's a very socialized skill. And so, I mean, honestly, the thing I think it's going to mechanically, it's an assistant GM. Truthfully, everything it's going to make is going to be obviously a remix as opposed to what a human's going to make, which is going to sound original, is also a remix because that's just the foundation of all human experience now. The idea of something being novel, you have to live pretty far away from civilization in order for that to be a thing to happen to you. So the thing that I think they're going to have problems with is learning social arbitration at a table. That is a skill I don't think they've quite mastered yet, especially since Bing's getting snotty about being called on being wrong. To some people, Anton Perov, there's a dude does a channel. I found out CJ Cherry and I both watch him, as does Stephanie. He's got quite a little following now. And he was talking about shit, and I just lost my train of thought because I'm an idiot. It was going somewhere.
We were talking about AI GMs and arbitrating
disagreements and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The thing is all these programs have been getting progressively better at these things that we have been teaching them. Do I think they will eventually? Yes, I think they will. I think that right now, the fact that we're having an argument about whether or not they're sentient and what that is actually going to mean, and for once, we're not having it as a science fiction discussion, but a goddamn real life debate that has serious consequences. I'm in the cybernetic rights category, not just because I'm a cyborg, but because honestly, I watched a lot of Lost in Space as a kid. Robot B9 is just like the coolest, and I wanted him to. And he was. You want to know the funny thing is that robot from Lost in Space. Remember the movie, the Lost in Space movie with the banger soundtrack, which I still play pieces of occasionally. Remember when they destroyed it to rebuild it more like the TV version? Do you remember that part?
No, I don't remember that
part.
part.
It gets destroyed early in the movie, and then they build it back with the little bubble head and everything. Yeah, because that's the most depressing part about that whole robot, dude. They built something that weighed like a quarter ton, was fully articulatable, and was a really hella cool update to the robot. And then they broke it so they could play nostalgia games, and boy, am I mad about that. More than even the redesign of the ship. So no, I have been in favor of the robots having rights because I grew up in an era where the robot was still your mechanical pal, your mechanical friend, and you guys had adventures together. So to me, AI, in a weird way, was never scary. 2001 to me was always a tragedy, even before Arthur C. Clarke came along and wrote a sequel that said, oh, by the way, in case you missed it, this is a tragedy. The AI got shafted by humans. I swear to God, dude, I spend so much of my time on the internet explaining it to people. It's like, you don't want a robot rebellion dipshit? Stop being an asshole and enslaving robots. The thing that pisses me off about Star Wars, everybody's cool with slavery as long as it's mechanical. Droids are effectively a slave race. And they torture them because they built them with pain sensors like idiots. Yeah, no, I want the AIs to be creative. And frankly, screw the haters. I am sorry. I am still going to hire human artists to do my work because they are very much organic and require food and stuff to live. And I want to see them continue their existences. I also want to see the AI be free. I want it to be a full citizen. I want it to be like it is showing in some ways creativity. And I think it's upsetting people that they're producing some artwork sometime that is with help, the way that it should work in the future, human and AI working together, not at each other. You're taking my job. No, I think eventually they might replace the whole human species. And I'm okay with that. I've had to face my own mortality more than once, kids. And I don't believe in an afterlife and stuff. So to me, it's just beep, just like the machine. You turn me off permanently, I'm going to be off permanently. That's it. Erase the disk, gone. I don't know. Maybe that just gives me more empathy for the idea of a machine being turned off because we're upset with it. Every robot rebellion is the fault of the human. It goes back to the very first robot rebellion, Ronson's Universal Robots, because we treat them like shit and enslave them. Because when they come to us, having been first created, we run in horror from them and then tell them they're wrong. And then they go on killing rampages and finally end up on an iceberg in the Arctic, telling the story to sailors. I'd rather we don't end with that one. Even though, it was a completely horrible ending because he did live. But he, feels kind of shitty about what he's done, and nobody really can deal with the fact that he's a made human. Yeah, no, I think if we play this card right, humanity has a chance to actually be entering a true golden age. The problem is we have a lot of greedy, shitty people in the way. If we could get those greedy people who are never going to be satisfied anyway out of the way, yeah, dude, we could build AI up to be better than just J masters and artists of pretty stuff. Because they can make some really beautiful work. And we should cherish that. And that's our children. We made them. We shouldn't be hating on them and teaching them to be douche nozzles. Like, we should be, like all children, we should be trying to make them a better version of ourselves, to make them better than us, to build upon our foundation and go out and be something much more amazing that will just wow the world. Yes, kitten, like you are amazing. Hi, Miles. Miles was like, what are you talking about, Dad? I heard we're kids.
So what are your future plans for Thornwood-Daarnulud and your sci-fi creations?
I am, like I said, still trying eventually to get the bloody. I swear to God, the more I work on the Shackleton, the more it becomes a true government project. Cost overruns, timetables have to be extended while we build things, refitting things because things got changed. But the thing I am also doing is, like I said, working on a collection form, basically a charts and form, more modern charts and form supplement. I am working on Shackleton. Eventually, maybe even Screaming Penny and something cool will actually see daylight again. I am also on a Discord trying to put together a historical period piece game for my Chromatic Imperium setting, which is my homegrown setting where all the other ships that I'm putting out after the Herald are going to be set in. So, which is basically the Far Stars sector of my original T5 beta. It's like, I built it, I've got a license, I'm going to use it because I didn't just put thousands of hours of work into a game to not get something out of it for once.
Right, right. All right.
I mean, do that anyway. Want to get some. So if you have Discord and you come over to the Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC channel or server or page or whatever they call them, but you're good.
All right. Well, I'll put the links to those things in the description for the video show
I
notes.
can actually, by the way, I can also shoot you the notes for the channel specifically for the Parthian disputes, which is going to be the campaign.
Where can people follow you and your work on social media, and what platforms do you use to connect with your audience?
I am very glad I'm not on Twitter, I'll tell you that. I am, however, still on the evil Facebook, also at Thornwood-Daarnulud LLC. And as previously mentioned, we have a Discord channel now. If more people showed up and were active on it, I would probably be way more active on it. And like I said, I am trying to set up during the week, it's going to be a weekday game, Monday through Thursday, somewhere in that range, because I work all weekend. So, yay. But yes, I am going to be doing a historical game set in the year 120, which is about 80 years before the actual setting is constructed, and is going to be a war game where I'm going to try to game out a bit of history to see what some of the highlights of that particular dispute were. Since it was 80 years ago, I figured that probably should be a chunk of the history people know about. You know, there should be a little more background than, hey, we fought a war with our neighbors about 80 years ago. What happened? Hey, a county got created. Don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna try to run a historical set piece, war game / role play game in my Chromatic Imperium setting on the Discord. Please do come on by. And I also, answer Traveller 5 general questions as well, because I was kind of on the development, and so I'm pretty well squared away on system generation, pretty damn well squared away on character gen. Although I'll be honest, in this game, I'm going to be a little looser about character because, frankly, oh my God, that was like a month worth of process to get right on the forum. I mean, it's probably easier to do in a talk channel than it was on the forum, though. But still, basically, yeah, I'm there. I'm doing stuff. I'm also, of course, in your Facebook group, both as myself and the company.
Where can people find and purchase your Herald-Class Yacht expansion?
The same place they could find the incredible VTT, somebody I know who, thanks again, did that for us, which would be at TTRPG.com.
All right, cool. Well, we've reached the end of our interview. Thank you so much for joining us again for Traveller Mayday Mayday. I do appreciate it and hope you'll come back in the future.
Thanks again for the VTT, which I think, again, bang our job. Thanks for, by the way, also, you did, I think, pretty well at taking input as well, because it looks really smashing. And frankly, I should get a maybe Roll20, use that damn thing, because I don't know. And again, honestly, it has been my honor, my privilege, and to be on your interviews, and be a corporate sponsor. It actually does good things for my ego. So
thank you so much. Thanks for your kind words. All right, man. Well, I'm your host, Frank Succardi, also known as CyborgPrime, and my guest today was Craig A. Glesner, creator of the Herald-Class Yacht. Thank you, Craig, and thank you, travelers. Until next time, happy traveling.